and good evening YouTube. So I've had to redo this slightly different talk tonight because my other talk went okay, but there wasn't any sound. So I do apologise for that. It's been a real difficult issue recently trying to get good Wi-Fi signal where I live in a sunny Eastbourne town. But anyway, I really want to start championing more growth and thought leadership around mental wellbeing programs at work. They are really, really important and they will drive performance for all companies in the world, literally. So many of you probably got your mental wellbeing programs set up and your partnerships set up so that you can try to balance the idea that mental wellbeing in the workplace is important. Human lives are important, my life is important, your life is important. But how do we get to explore that more in the workplace? Because and this is what I was talking about earlier, it's very complex in one way because up here we've got so many thoughts going on, war in Ukraine, cost of living crisis, people are getting laid off left, right and centre. We're living in very, very difficult times and we know investment is down in terms of VC market. So how do we try to package all of that and shape our employees, look after them, and kind of get a better perspective around the future of work? Because at the end of the day, as I often say to people, the world is getting darker, sadly. Crime is going up, cost of living crisis is one issue, and that will drive crime in local towns. And I've got access to data to this, and even in my hometown here in Eastbourne, crime's going up because of that very reason. Poor mental well-being themselves. So we're not very good at managing our own mental health, and data shows that evident from instance. You've got around 29% of Americans now suffering from depression, or at least someone that they know. Okay, that's from Gallup recently published data. That's scary. Okay, because I am I myself, just to back this up, I'm on a mission to safeguard people's brains by teaching them how to do that effectively through what I call self renovation. And to get to learn more about mental being in the workplace, you have to start with each individual's you as a person. So you can't just design one big workshop and think that's going to be enough because it's not. The way that humans live, the way that they function, the way that we function is in a state of complexity. So we need to know that, okay, every single day we wake up, we have thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And I'm trying to champion more people before they get into the workplace to say, look, sit down in a chair like I'm in my kitchen and say to yourself, you know what, I just want to meditate on my thoughts and think about what's going on up here. And some people that's very scary, but we need to do it. We so need to do it. And I'm live proof experience, someone that's been through trauma that has helped me heal me because you know what? I'm not scared of being on my own with my thoughts. I'm clear, I'm conscious, my self awareness has increased through using this system of reflection upon my thoughts on a daily basis. Some people meditate in yoga. I was doing that this morning in front of the ocean. It was beautiful and it helps shape my day. Now, when you get to the workplace, you've got lots of different meetings and stuff. But if you're not into this, a practice where you've got coaching buddies and what we call in the British Army the buddy buddy system, where you know, one person will clean the weapon, one person will cook the food, and they work as a team, buddy buddy. And you can ignite that up to 10,000 colleagues because you're working together. And that's how we operate in the British Army more effectively because we've got each other's backs, we know each other's emotions. So, in order for us to learn more about mental being in the workplace, we need to understand our own emotions first more consciously. And over time, as I was talking to a young lady tonight in the View Hotel, which I regularly film, big shout out to you, Daisy. Thank you for your help tonight. That was fantastic. Well, didn't quite make the live performance, but we'll keep trying. So it's more over time and that we get to understand the unconscious thoughts. Now, I try to explain to my new friend Daisy here that in one way, your conscious thoughts are how you process things. So if your workplace is good and comfortable, and you feel like you've got that driving purpose, that's good. But if you leave a company where, for instance, you messed up and they fired you over it, that's going to leave a memory in your brain. Now, over time, you'll process that, but it's in the brain, and that can switch onto the other side of the brain into the unconscious thoughts. And then you go and join another company, and then something happens at that company, and it triggers your past memory, and that's quite difficult to manage. However, the more we reflect upon even the bad experiences, which is what we call cognitive relearning or reframing, emotional relearning, how you think about what happened to you in that time. It allows your emotional intelligence to grow because your self awareness is higher. It sounds complicated because the brain is complicated. So I hope I've at least for this short talk here, less than 10 minutes, ironed out how you need to start thinking about if you're human resources practitioner, executive director, and you're thinking about how do we improve our mental wellbeing programs. Shall we look at the data should we do a survey, for instance, on our colleagues, which is a pretty good idea, but because the brain is so complex and every case is different, it's hard to unify everything. So my advice is to start off with a coaching program that allows new on boards and people that work in the company to share and have a partnership relationship so they check on each other on a one-to-one basis at least once a week. That's not easy to do and scale, particularly if you've got a large company. But the alternative is that you let your colleagues just get on with their stuff. You give them their orders or their job tasks, whatever they're doing, and you'll end up more often than not with a toxic working culture because they're so burnt out with everything that you're giving to them. There's no balance, as it were. That's why a lot of people want a 4-day working week to stay fixed because for many decades, hundreds of years, we've all been wired to work this 5-day working week, and it has come to the point, certainly reference point, the Great Resignation, that we need a new system and we need a better mental well-being program in the workplace. Not quite universal, but we need a better approach, and hopefully over time I can teach that through here on LinkedIn and develop more programs and work with more companies and brands to kind of put a curriculum down, which is quite difficult to do, but I'm on a mission to do that because I literally want to save lives. People will end their life or take their own life, and they have done, it's showing this, when they work for a toxic leader or something bad happens at work. And, I don't want to, education is hard, but we know recently, sadly, in the UK, a poor lady that was very passionate about her school had a really bad Ofsted rating and subsequently took that effectively very bad and decided to end her life. And that's a real story. And these kind of cases, although it was reported here in the UK, it's a big story from the BBC News. That's just one of many cases that, if you looked at the data, that's what's happening because, as stated at the start of this conversation, around 29% of Americans now have either suffered depression or know someone that has. That's probably, it's fairly accurate, but I would say it's much bigger in reality because just we're not all well trained to look after our well-being. So the idea that we just write a policy, this is what we're going to do to help our colleagues at work, We'll give them access to telehealth services and can go to the workshops. We'll employ a wellbeing practitioner, and that'll be it. That's not going to be enough. We need to go deeply rooted into the relationships that we all have subsequently with each other, and that is things like empathy in action, self innovation, self leadership. Those are the things we need to look at, which I do slowly teach on this platform. Okay, and I'll be launching courses in the future around this area. If you're interested in working with me to build those courses, please direct message me here on LinkedIn. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my tea. Thank you. And just wish you good night. And I hope that there should be good signal now. So you should hear and see this video live performance from my kitchen table pretty clearly. Apologies for earlier, but I need to keep practicing because I'm rehearsing for a very big live performance coming up soon. I don't know when that's going to be or who's going to vendor it, but I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much. You'll find me here daily doing these live talks and until my last days, until I can really put down some strong foundations for a new curriculum for emotional intelligence and mental fitness or mental health improvements in our life that we all need. Anyway, I'll bid you good night. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.